Manchester United take a real grip on the game. Perisic will often be the outball because of his ability to dig out a cross, and he does here for Richarlison. Kane, Spurs appealing, getting nothing, but Pedro Porro has scored a spectacular goal. Spurs right back in it, 10 minutes into the second half. Big header from the right back, Romero into Harry Kane. Son is round the back. There he is! From 2-0 down, Spurs are level against Manchester United.
Well, it was Spurs coming back from goals against Manchester United. It ended 2-2, and well, maybe we say that the magic of Emerson has brought in that energy into the team and concentration. Well, remember, this draw is coming after the 6-1 bashing they had against Newcastle United. My name is Oladapo Okunubi. I'm not a sports fan, neither am I a Manchester United man. You're welcome to Kiko Sports Show. And on the show this morning, we look at updates from the world of tennis, we look at that of basketball, we look at that of Formula One, and we talk more about games in the CAF Champions League on the continent going down this weekend, starting with Guana Casablanca and Simba SC. Remember, we're live on Facebook, facebook.com/Solutions939FM, facebook.com/Solutions939FM. Same as YouTube. Click like, subscribe, and share buttons. Do you not go anywhere? Okay, so let's start with Formula One this morning. Remember, there is a little bit of change coming from Formula One. Charles Leclerc has denied reports in Italy, claiming he has held talks with Mercedes about replacing Lewis Hamilton. Remember, Lewis Hamilton is not really getting it as expected, but Hamilton's current contract with the Silver Arrows expires at the end of the season, and the 38-year-old is yet to agree an extension, despite he and the Mercedes boss, Toto Wolff, suggesting over the winter it would be somewhat of a formality. But Leclerc, who is contracted to Ferrari until the end of 2024, insists no talk with Mercedes have taken place. Now, ahead of the debut of Formula One's new sprint weekend format at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, the drivers have had their say on the changes that were finally passed earlier this week. The Formula One Commission and the World Motorsports Council voted on Tuesday to make significant changes to the sprint format that had been in place since its introduction to the sport in 2021. In addition, qualifying, to be known as the Sprint Showdown, has been added on Saturday morning in place of a second practice session that had been criticized for being pointless. Well, Queen Faiga will join us tomorrow on Saturday Sports Safari to also look at this, if most of the drivers will also be in full support. But most of these drivers are already talking, but maybe this also will be like a somewhat way of help. Let us talk about the NBA this morning. Well, for the games, this one game decided the wee hours of today was Boston Celtics busting the balloons of Atlanta Hawks, 128 to 120 points, and with that, it is Boston Celtics moving 4-2 on aggregate against the Hawks. But Jason Tatum and Jolly Brown both reduced their 30-point games as the Boston Celtics secured the Sports and the Conference's semi-final with that victory over the Atlanta Hawks. The Celtics clinched the series 4-2 with Thursday's road win at State Farm Arena, booking a date with Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Conference semi-final with Game 1 scheduled for Monday. Now, for the Philadelphia 76ers, they are still not declaring Joel Embiid will be available for Game 1 of the conference semifinals starting on Monday due to a sprained right knee. Embiid missed Game 4 on Saturday as the 76ers completed a 4-0 aggregate sweep of the Brooklyn Nets, offering the MVP candidate an opportunity for rest ahead of their next series against Boston Celtics. The 76ers center is set to practice ahead of Game 1, and head coach Doc Rivers said he was undergoing doctor's examination on Thursday. Shout out to Mustafa Taiwo, Damola Omotosho, Akubi Ali Sharif, all watching live on Facebook. Remember, you can also join these guys to watch what is happening live in the studio. Also, share your opinion, what you also thought based on results coming for some teams, most especially Newcastle United, and maybe the energy is back for Tottenham Hotspur. We're live on Facebook, facebook.com/Solutions939FM, YouTube channel Solutions939FM. Well, let's also look at what we're going down tomorrow. It is LA Lakers taking on Memphis Grizzlies, and LA Lakers is looking at a way to wrap up the playoff there against the Memphis Grizzlies. Remember, they lost the last game, and well, for LeBron James saying that he will have to be at his best. And for Golden State Warriors, we'll take on Sacramento Kings. All these games are going down very early tomorrow morning. 1 a.m. for Golden State Warriors against Sacramento Kings. 3:30 a.m. for LA Lakers and Memphis Grizzlies. Let's talk tennis, shall we? Aryna Sabalenka is through to the round of 32 of the Madrid Open after beating Serena Christian 6-4, 6-3 on Thursday. It was an ominous start for Christian, being broken to love in the opening game, but she stuck with second seed Sabalenka and broke back before ultimately being peeped to the first set by the impressive Belarusian. Sabalenka now has 26 wins on clay in the WTA since 2021, with only Ons Jabeur, Iga Swiatek, Paulo Barbosa, Corey Goff having more during this time. Shout out to Segun Afolabi, well done to you. Now let's talk about the ATP. Andy Murray insists he still believes he can win another Wimbledon title despite his losing run, continuing with defeat by Italian qualifier Andre Vavazzari in the opening round of the Madrid Open. The first straight scored 6-2, 7-6, lost to a player ranked 164, made it 4 consecutive defeats, equaling the worst run of his professional career. Murray was so disillusioned by his performance against Alex de Minaur in Monte Carlo 2 weeks ago that he indicated he might sit out the rest of the clay season. But now let's look at what the fixtures of games look like today at the Madrid Open ATP, the WTA Madrid Open. Let's start with the guys this morning. Casper Ruud, 10 o'clock, will be up against Matteo Arnaldi as Oscar Otte battles Daniel Altmaier. Germaner will be up against Tanner Greitzpo as Alex Molcan battles Yoshito Nishioka. Looking at another game by 11:30, Grigor Dimitrov will take on Grigori Berere as Yannick Hanfmann battles Lorenzo Musetti by 11:30. 12 o'clock, we'll see Stan Wawrinka battle Andrei Rublev as Thiago Monteiro take on Kari Khachanov. Quentin Hallis battles Roberto Bautista Agut as Richard Gasquet take on Hubert Okars. Let's talk about the ladies, shall we? It is by 10:30. We'll see Daria Kasatkina take on Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova as Duncan Kovinic battles Barbara Krejcikova. Veronika Kudermetova will lock hands with Nuria Parisa Diaz by 10 o'clock, and 11:30 Martina Shevchina will take on Eugen Bouchard. Laurent Sigmund will take on Petra Martic as Bernarda Pera will be up against Tatiana Maria as Elena Rybakina take on Anna Kalinskaya by 12 o'clock. The last game of the day will see Iga Swiatek take on Julia Grabher. Who is grabbing who? Let's go straight to the second half of the show. Let's look at who be grabbing who or who grabbed who last night. Same as teams grabbing each other this weekend for points, qualification, and goals. Do not go anywhere. Kickoff Sports Show is still live on your Remedy Radio Dial Solutions 939 FM. Teams are back from the Federations Cup in Nigeria as we look at how games will be going down round of 16 of the NPFL. Well, for some teams, this weekend's game may be the last home game for them, while some may be having the last away games. But let's just look at how the fixtures will look like. Well, for some, it is the second to the last, home or away. Sakira at Adebayo, shout out to you watching live this morning. Abia Warriors this weekend will take on Dakara FC as Sunshine Stars travels to play Bayelsa United. Academy Warriors will be up against Eyimba International as Wiki Tourist Bochi will be the guest of Enugu Rangers. Lobby Stars of Markadi will be up against Niger Tornadoes as Shooting Star Sports Club of Ibadan travels to play Nasarawa United, and Remo Stars will be in Ikene as a welcome Aqua United. And on Sunday, Gombe United battles Bendel Insurance with Kwara United hosting Plateau United in Akure. But remember, Kwara United has not been phenomenal. Look at their last 5 matches. They drew just 1 game, lost 4. And for Plateau United, 4th under NPFL Law Group A, a victory for Plateau United gives them 27 points and pushes them to the second spot of the NPFL log. Bendel Insurance, remember, this team has been fantastic so far, yet to lose a game. They've won 8 and drawn 7 this season, and they have 20 goals scored, 9 goals conceded. They will be up against Gombe. And if you look at Gombe United, the team that lost against Shooting Star Sports Club of Ibadan 3-0 last weekend, maybe you can say Gombe United may be looking at a way to end the unbeaten run of Bendel Insurance, and a victory for Gombe United gives them 21 points but still sits around 6th and 7th, while Bendel Insurance will still hold on to the top spot on the NPFL log, win or lose. But they have to look at Aqua United behind them, right? But look at Group B. Jimmy Toppers, the Lobby Stars of Markodi hosting Niger Tornadoes. A victory for Lobby Stars gives them 29 points as Niger Tornadoes, should they win, will have 26 points, moving to the second spot on the NPFL log. Doma United against Enugu Rangers. What with that one looks like a game, which they can win. But remember, Rivers United, Doma United's game has been postponed due to Rivers United's assignment on the continent. But remember, in the NPFL, it's all about the party. You party for goals, you party for points. It is your weekend radio station, baby.
It's Kelpie Vibes. I'm not moved by what I see. I know who I be. I just want my peace, make money, yeah. I go get everything I need in my own timing. Koni kojami, koni dide. So many people deny. Oluwa don't go sign. Can't believe this my life. Everything come align. They look at me so surprised. Shamadelo don't buy. I know it's hurting your pride. Believe me, I don't mind. Party no they stop when we pop. Yeah, we have plenty spending like it's nothing. Party no they stop when we pop. Yeah, we have plenty
Wow, Adekunle Godsino Liski, party no they stop, football no they stop. Here in Nigeria, on the continent, even in Europe. Let's talk about games not stopping away from Nigeria, but let's talk about games going on the continent. Talking about the CAF Champions League players. Wanda Casablanca takes on Simba tonight. Remember, Simba won the first leg of this clash. And going to the region leg, all they just need to do is get a draw. Be it 5-goal draw, 3-goal draw, 5. All they need to do is just draw the game. But hey, remember, they also must win. Because when you underrate your opponent, anything can happen, right? Now, let's move on tomorrow for the CAF Champions League playoffs. Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa will take on Sierra Belouizdad. Remember, Mamelodi Sundowns won the first leg 4-1, and this may just be like a jet rubber game. But like I always say, do not underrate. Well, Mamelodi Sundowns is playing in South Africa. Esperance of Tunisia takes on Kabylie. Esperance won the first leg on the road 1-0 and returning home to Tunisia. Well, Raja Casablanca against Al Ali. Al Ali won the first leg 2-0 and they're going to Raja Casablanca's home. That's what it looks like on the continent for this weekend. But remember, in the CAF Confederations Cup, Rivers United against Young Africans. Remember, Rivers United lost 2-0 in Nigeria. They need to score 3 unreplied goals against Young Africans as ASEC Mimosa batters Monastery. The first leg ended goalless. Marumo Gallants and the Pyramids played a 1-0 draw. And the region leg has a lot to play for. FAR Rabat and USM Algiers battle each other. USM Algiers won the first leg 2-0. And playing FAR Rabat, they have to also avoid losing by 3 goal score line. They must score to also put pressure on their opponent. Okay, now let's go straight to the Premier League this morning to England. Remember, 2-2 it ended between Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. Here is Ray Merson, who is happy and believes the boys can do better.
Yeah, listen, I've said it to the boys in there. I've heard a lot of talk about maybe lack of character and all that, but listen, those players in there, I know I've got men. I know I've got men that when they pull together and act as a team, they're a very, very strong team, and that's my challenge to inspire them and get inside of them to make sure that every time we go onto a football pitch, we act as a team.
And the crowd joined you.
Absolutely, and listen, I was a player here. I know what it's like. I know what it's like when we've got the fans with us. We have to get the fans with us. That goes without saying. And I was very pleased with the feeling and the energy inside the stadium because I felt like they was with us the whole game. And like I said, that's very pleasing.
Well, you could feel that from Ray Merson. Remember, 2 managers fired. Well, it was Antonio Conte who opened the exit door of the both parties. Antonio Conte, Tottenham Hotspur agreeing, to end the whole contract, and it was Stellini who continued. But the poor result that came for Tottenham Hotspur, showed Stellini the exit door from Tottenham Hotspur. Losing back-to-back, they lost 6-1. Before that game, they also lost 2-3 against Bournemouth. Well, the next game for Tottenham Hotspur is against Liverpool. Remember, Liverpool has won their games back-to-back. One against the Leeds 6-1, one against Nottingham Forest 3-2, and one against West Ham United 2-1. Well, Ishamin is also back. This man, maybe some of these players should also be blamed. But remember, things are not going smooth well for Frank Lampard, who's an interim manager in Chelsea. But remember, games. Another game that was also decided last night saw Newcastle United bash Everton 4-1 in that game. And the question here is, Newcastle United, where are they getting goals from? Same as motivation. Remember, they defeated Tottenham Hotspur 6-1. These guys are scoring goals. Scored 5-1 against West Ham United. The only game they lost in the last 5 matches was against Aston Villa, where they were convincingly defeated 3-0. But Newcastle United is in our thought on the Premier League log. But let's look at how the fixtures will look like this weekend in England. games are going down this weekend. Crystal Palace will host West Ham United as Brentford host Nottingham Forest. Hope to continue with the way they got the result against Chelsea. Brighton and Hove Albion host Wolverhampton Wanderers. As Bournemouth on Sunday battles Leeds United. Manchester United travels to play Fulham. As Manchester City travels to play Fulham in London, while Manchester United will be at the Old Trafford as they welcome Aston Villa. Newcastle United hosts relegation bound Southampton as Liverpool take on Tottenham Hotspur. Monday, May Day, we'll see Leicester City at the King Power Stadium take on Everton. And on Tuesday, Arsenal will host to bounce back after the heavy bashing against Manchester City where they host struggling Chelsea. But should Arsenal lose the game against Chelsea, the nail on the coffin for Arteta's side, right? Okay, now let's move away. Let's go straight to the German Bundesliga this morning in Germany. It is going to start this weekend with Borussia Dortmund table toppers hoping to hold on to that top spot on the German Bundesliga log when they take on Bochum tonight by 7:30. Well, for Bayern Munich, all they need to do is to see how they can score a lot of goals this weekend, avoid defeat, avoid draw, and a win against Hertha Berlin. Remember, tomorrow, Eintracht Frankfurt will take on Augsburg as FC Köln battles the Freiburg. Hoffenheim travels to play RB Leipzig, while Stuttgart will be up against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Union Berlin hosts Bayern Leverkusen, and Werder Bremen battles Schalke. Well, remember, Bayern Munich's game against Hertha Berlin starts the game on Sunday in Germany as Wolfsburg host Mainz. Now, moving away from Germany, and let us look at what will be going down in Italy. Remember last night, it was Fiorentina getting a date with Inter Milan in the final of the cup competition Coppa Italia after winning aggregate 2-0 against Cremonese. Fiorentina will meet Inter in the final on May 24 at the Stadio Olimpico after Simone Inzaghi's side beat Juventus 1-0 on Wednesday to secure 2-1 aggregate victory. But let's continue and look at what it will look like in Italy this weekend. Two Serie matches are going down tonight. Lecce against Udinese, Spezia against Monza. Lecce's game is by 5:30 and 7:45. Monza being the guest of Spezia and can be the monster against Spezia. But look at all the games they're scheduled for this weekend. Napoli will be up against Salernitana. And let's see the celebration at the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium. While AS Roma takes on AC Milan, Torino will be up against Atalanta. Inter Milan hosts Lazio. Cremonese hosts Verona. But looking at another set of games going down this weekend, Sassuolo takes on Empoli as Fiorentina battles Sampdoria, and Juventus will be up against Bologna. But moving straight to Spain. Remember, tonight Osasuna will take on Real Sociedad. Well, the two teams, the big teams in Spain, they also hope to bounce back from the defeat they had in the midweek. Real Madrid, Barcelona. Rayo Vallecano takes on Elche, the first game of the Spanish La Liga tomorrow, starting on Saturday. Two games will be decided tonight. But Real Madrid will be at home as a welcome Almeria as Barcelona returns home as they play against Betis. Cadiz will take on Valencia as they celebrate Davido being one of the ambassadors. Villarreal will be up against Celta Vigo as Getafe travels to play Espanyol. Valladolid hosts Atletico Madrid, while Mallorca on May Day battles Athletic Bilbao, and Girona travels to play Sevilla. So those are the games that are going down in Europe. But hey, tonight in France, Lyon will take on Strasbourg. So there's other fixtures, but hey, let's talk about what it looks like. Talking about buying and selling. Starting at Manchester, where the Qatari group led by Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani will table a third and final offer for Manchester United today, bolstered by fresh assurances that the government will not block its proposed takeover at Old Trafford. I can't wait to see. So when you have that of Newcastle United, that of Manchester City, and we're having that of Manchester United. But now, what is the relationship between Arsenal and Chelsea? Yeah, they're in London, yes, but hope they will not bite their fingers, going for these players, because we're getting updates that Arsenal are interested in Mount. Yeah, but another update here says that Arsenal will set up their transfer planning ahead of the summer window after guaranteeing their place in the next season's Champions League, with Declan Rice high on the list of targets as a look to recruit at least one high-class midfielder. Arsenal have also held exploratory conversations regarding Mason Mount, who is approaching the final year of his contract at Chelsea. Mount is also target for Liverpool. We'll be targeting the headline news in the next few minutes, looking at pages of Nigerian newspapers, looking at the front pages, looking at the headlines. My name is Oladapo Kunubi, aka Young Striker 9. For the winners of our predictions, we'll get back to you today. Please respond to your messages on Facebook. Like what they say, we say keep doing sports and stay safe.
For this Naija wey we dey so, say you no hold cash no mean say wahala dey o. You wan send money to Male for Villa, just use Momo. You wan buy recharge card or data, just use Momo. You wan pay for market wey you buy, just use Momo. You fit use Momo run plenty things without cash, as long as you get Momo account. No cash, no wahala, and e dey easy to open o. Just dial *671# to open Momo account. Set your PIN, transfer money from your bank account inside your Momo account. Make you fit dey pay for anything, send and receive money sharp because life dey simple with Momo.
Mommy!
Yes, daughter?
Why is it that almost everyone in my school comes with Sumal candies and biscuits? I just want to know.
Yes, darling. It's because Sumal food is amazing and simply the best.
Yes, mommy. Even the Sumal wafers and the chewing gum that you've always given to us are extremely delicious and captivating.
Hello, everyone. Here's your bread. Of course, it's yellow bread.
Wow!
Thanks, my dear. We always enjoy Jolly bread. For your biscuits, wafers, candies, chewing gum, and bread.
Sumal Foods, love and prosper.
Sumal Foods, love and prosper.
Saleko is a jungle. Everyone does what they must to survive. Gangs of Lagos don land for Prime Video and na the #1 film, so make una go watch am. E get better stars like Toby Bakri, Adesua Tomi Wellington, Chike, Iyabo Ojo and more. Plus the genge action wey dem do for the film. Chai! Na for only Prime Video you fit watch Gangs of Lagos, and dem go first give you 7 days free trial. Terms and conditions dey o. Oh yeah, japa to Prime Video.
Radio is all about information, education, and entertainment.
Maybe that's before now. Solutions 93.9 FM has raised the standard of radio broadcast to preferring solutions in all human angle. 939 FM, the remedy.
News, sports, entertainment, top 100 music on your Remedy radio dial. Solutions 93.9.
Do not touch that dial.
Hello, sir. Do you mind if I interview you quickly?
No. I don't get time.
Just a quick one, sir. If you get 1 million naira right now, what would you?
You said? First of all, hey, I go share this my phone. After that, I will go buy correct bars, you understand? Then I'll come work well. Come block my landlord office, see my status. God declare for the boys there. Levels all loud with that.
Take off on a millionaire level and do as you like with the FCMB Millionaire Promo Season 9 by increasing your savings account balance by 10,000 naira and keeping it for 30 days in your FCMB account. And if you are a new customer, deposit 10,000 naira into your account and keep it for 30 days. And you could be one of the winners of ₦1 million and other amazing cash rewards. Approved by NLRC and FCCPC. FCMB, Light Bank and I.
News, sports, entertainment, top 100 music on your Remedy radio dial. Solutions 93.9.
Do not touch that dial.
Right here on the Remedy Dial, Solutions 93.9, exactly 35 minutes gone past 9. Welcome to the last edition of From the Dailies, where we look at the front pages of our Nigerian newspapers, bring some spotlight to some stories and analysis as well. I'll be taking stories from the Nigerian Tribune and the Vanguard newspaper. My name is Victory Richard.
I mean, I'm happy to do a Friday show with Victory.
I don't understand. Don't you do it always?
You know, I'm always happy, Sha, because
you should be.
I like dragging you. Good morning, Nigerians of God. We made a nation and the Punch newspapers here this morning as we expect the first set of Nigerians evacuated from Sudan back home. Although yesterday you heard the news, you saw the update. Best of Nigerians were complaining that they got stuck in the desert in Egypt.
There were videos that surfaced online in that regard. With some of the stranded Nigerians complaining of how the bus stopped because, according to the bus drivers, they were being owed some amount of money. They said they needed the money in cash. I also saw a video of Dabiri also corroborating the story, speaking about how they had to get cash to get to these guys. I mean, with the budgets set aside for this particular mission, one would think that everything has been put in place, especially with not even using bus to convey these guys to Egypt. So another commercial airline would do it for free.
And that commercial airline will have to do that in Egypt, not in Sudan.
No, not in Sudan.
Yeah, but and let's also give it up to the NAF, because they are also lifting Nigerian evacuees, today. So it shows that a lot of people are putting things together. Yes. Another question I need to ask is, okay, maybe after the headlines here, having a private airline, then the NAF also coming out to also help, in airlifting Nigerians. But the question is, what we need to investigate how much, because we heard the amount paid to evacuate Nigerians from Sudan to Egypt by bus. So if they couldn't pay the full money to the buses evacuating Nigerians from Sudan, what if there's a flight? I mean, the flight's coming to pick Nigerians from Egypt. That means there will surely be problem if we didn't have a free airline.
The commercial lines in Sudan are closed, so it's not.
Yes, I know. I mean, because of the problem in Sudan, I mean, they have to go to neighboring countries like Ethiopia, Egypt, and the like. So that means Nigeria is cash trapped. Is that what they're trying to tell us?
I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a function of either miscommunication or this monies weren't actually disbursed to these guys.
Okay, I'm a sports guy. I know what national teams face when they go for tournaments.
Yeah.
You get to a tournament, they play the first game, they play the second game. You hear teams come out say that they've not been paid. They are washing their jerseys. The jersey they used in the first game is what they are using in the third game, and you see teams protest. So, how do they pay, political office holders, and you are not paying people serving the country? You get. That's where I'm going to. But let's finish the headlines we have this morning. This is 9:38. I will start with Victor Richard.
Alright, let's begin with the Nigerian Tribune this morning, starting with this story. Afenifere fought FG's insistence on conducting national census. Riders to that reads, Court refuses to grant request seeking to stop census. There will be movement restrictions during exercise. Federal government. NAS presiding officers, let's build consensus, Tinubu tells APC government. And now to the banner headline, the biggest story in the Nigerian Tribune. NEC suspends fuel subsidy removal. Riders to that, hints on supplementary budget, tinkering with PIA. Another rider, domestic production of petroleum products, best option. NLC and TUC speaking there. And now to flood. Flood hits Lagos metropolis after downpour. School building in Agege at risk. Find that story on page 26. Allegations on $2.4 billion crude oil theft. Baseless, lacks merit. Malami speaking there. 10 killed in Plateau tanker explosion. Hoodlums burn FRSC vehicle on rescue mission. Read up on that story on page 27. Court grants federal government leave to file 9 new grounds against Nnamdi Kanu's release. Check that story on page 5. Dawn Commission to partner foreign investors to link 44 Southwest cities by rail. Read up on that on page 2. Now to Sudan. Amid stranded drama, Nemesis first batch of evacuees to arrive Nigeria today. Governors to meet Buhari over RMAFC's new revenue formula. These are the stories on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
To the Nation newspaper this morning, the front page of this paper has this set of headlines on the cap. 48 million barrel of crude oil not missing, Malami tells reps. Southwest states to launch regional power rail project. Buhari, we have done our best to improve security. UK PM Sunak pledges support for Tinubu administration. The red headline this morning, government justifies Nnamdi Kanu's repatriation from Kenya. Lover sets self ablaze. I know Alaja and Benga will take that on Akika. You want to know more, just tune in 1 p.m. for Iroyi Akika. Mixed reactions, trail subsidy removal shift. NLC, ICCI, NECA, others. State positions. Okay. The banner headline this morning, why Tinubu floored Atiku Obi by President Buhari. President-elect urges government to back party on National Assembly positions. All right. Buhari to spend retirement in Kaduna. Who said that? Why is that happening? Or why must that happen? Get a copy of the Nation newspaper. Looking at last two set of headlines. 10 burnt in a Plateau tanker accident. Judgment reserved in OAU murder case. Get a copy of the Nation newspaper.
Alright, away from the nation, let's now move over to the Vanguard newspaper. Oil prices dropped below $80 per barrel as OPEC orders end meeting. 10th NAS leadership walk with Adamu. NWC Tinubu tells APC government. Buhari's government shouldn't be blamed for Buhari's government shouldn't be blamed for not bringing back all Chibok girls. Presidency. Nigerian students trapped in desert. And now to the banner headline. Restore local refining, says NLC as FG holds subsidy removal. Riders to that, timing should not be now, Finance Minister. It is commendable, TUC. Leave petrol subsidy removal for incoming government, CPPE. Federal government files 9 fresh grounds opposing Nnamdi Kanu's release. Allegation of missing 48 million barrels of crude, baseless, unfounded, Malami. Utaka wants Pesaro's job. Find that on page 38. Okay, these are the stories on the front page of the Vanguard this morning.
I understand when you go to that sports part. You know, Utaka, Pesaro. Okay, should I explain the headline?
You can go ahead with your last paper.
Okay, let's go straight to the Punch newspaper this morning. Looking at the cap headlines. FG plans supplementary budget as next suspends subsidy removal. You can check that on the page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Rescued Nigerian students arrive Egypt, await airlift. Page 7. And the page 40. PDP, LP lost poll to overconfidence. The banner headline this morning from the Punch newspaper. National Assembly leadership, Tinubu, governors, dump consensus for zoning. And right as to this headline says, Governor advised Tinubu against endorsing candidates. Seek due process. Work with party leadership for principal officers election. Tinubu tells governors. And we have the front page picture of the Punch newspaper, where over 60,000 soldiers recruited under my watch, says Buhari. There was a color parade yesterday at the Eagle Square in Abuja. Former head of state Yakubu Gowon, former president Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, Senate President Ahmed Lawan, Chief of Army Staff also there. And look at the other headlines here. $2.4 billion diversion claim baseless. Malami. Nigerians rejoice as police go after rogue cops. And flawed. 16 states IFG relief fund. These and more you can get from the Punch newspaper this morning.
Alright, be reminded that we are streaming live on Facebook as well as YouTube, so you can jump on the platforms and lend in your thought regarding some of the stories while we join our analysts for the analysis on some of the burning issues this morning. Today is also the open mic session, so we're going to be addressing several issues as we oblige that you also open your minds to telling us about some of the stories that we might not be able to address as a result of time.
However, Ambassador in Egypt also did some security arrangements from his own side. It's a war situation. Let's understand that. Then the issue of the money, honestly speaking, I can't say anything about the funds and how they arrived on those figures. NITCOM is there to ensure communication, to ensure orderliness, and to ensure that we stay in touch with our students, and then what happens to them thereafter. So we are actually in touch with those students. So I don't know about the funding. We don't get one kobo, by the way. No, they arranged that they should have some security personnel, but I don't know whether you can get some. No. What I'm saying is that there should be security around. But the thing, two factions are aware that this are not. So, they have a way of communicating. Nigeria's troops are leaving. Qatari, French, British nationals had to turn back. And I think the minister mentioned that when an Egyptian diplomat was killed 3 days ago because he was driving his diplomatic car and they couldn't identify him. So we're saying, imagine 10 buses are just going. You haven't informed both sides. and they just see them as enemies. So when you see them, you know these are not enemies. So that's why I said they're about 2 hours to their destination. So hope they get them.
Honorable Abike Dabiri-Arewa, the chairperson, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, speaking yesterday to State House correspondents on the plan to evacuate Nigerians from Wharton, Sudan to Egypt and to be airlifted, and talking about the money and the likes. But that was done earlier yesterday. But after that press conference at the State House in Abuja, well, some Nigerian students, yes, were, they went with the bus. But the discussion we had before starting the newspaper review was that, the drivers of those buses stopped in the desert and they were stranded. Here happens to be one of the voices of some of the students evacuated from Sudan.
When we started this journey, we have to go on several fighting. Can you even imagine that we are stuck in this desert for 5 hours? Like, we don't know the situation we have. We don't have what our money has finished. Can you even imagine? And they said the Bible drivers, they said they are not moving their bus. They said they are not moving their buses because they don't give them money. Which type of attitude is this one? Look at this way, we are stuck in desert. We don't even have compass. We don't know the way we are. We don't know the place we are. Everything has finished. We are done. We don't have anything. We don't have anything finished. We don't have bus. We don't have anything. We don't have compass. We even know our location. We're in an unknown environment with a very big danger. Look at this place.
Well, you can hear the frustration from the voices of the stranded Nigerians who are, seen in a video in the desert that surfaced online. And I saw a tweet after the video surfaced online. We saw a tweet from Abike, who now said, "I have just spoken to NEMA Nigeria DG, and he confirmed that the buses have continued their journey and said whatever issue they had have been resolved." My question is, why are we seldom never proactive when it comes to delicate matters? We saw how the US and the UK evacuated their diplomats from Sudan. Immediately there was a case of insurrection. But more often than not, we are never very quick to take actions. And when we do, there's some oversight here and there. The lives of people were involved. We're grateful to God that there hasn't been a record of someone who died.
Attacked at the desert.
Yes.
Okay, well, Dr. Gunniston is with us here this morning as we look at this issue and more. Dr. Gunniston, top of the morning to you. You're welcome to the show.
I'm very grateful. Good morning. How are you today?
Well, very well, thank you. Good morning to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's start with the Nigerians evacuated from Sudan to Egypt and the story of being stranded in in the desert to Egypt. Although Dabiri-Arewa said these drivers have been sorted, and the reason they stopped was because they said they wanted their money in full. Even at some point, we got some stories. We don't know how true that is, that some of the students had to contribute. But here, we're looking at...
Yeah, I saw a video yesterday. I was saying that some of the drivers that were used, they got somewhere and they started asking the students to pay because they didn't receive enough money. Well, you have to learn, whatever happens to you outside of your country, you have to take a cue from what is happening inside. Who is not being extorted today in Nigeria? The police officer on the road wants to extort you. The people who are doing tax clearance and all the rest of them, they want to extort you. So I will not be surprised that the people who went for the picking of these young people in Sudan, they got on the road and said, no, because that's what we have been experiencing everywhere here. It's at this point in time that things like these are makes it difficult to be called a Nigerian. I've said that a lot. But we are grateful to God. My own take on this issue also is that there's a tweet, I don't know how correct that tweet is, directed to Abike Dabiri that for the purpose of evacuating them, they had to enter cars and vehicles according to their state of origin. And that one really got to me because I do not know what that achieved for the purpose of evacuation.
We are not sure of that information, like you said. I mean, we are not sure of that information because most of the information we got yesterday was based on being stranded in the desert.
Yeah, and it's all viral. That particular tweet went really viral yesterday and day before yesterday. But we thank God that if he's being stranded in Egypt as the case now, at least so-called has come to them that they are not going to die in war. So at least we believe that so-called will come to them. And I also want to say that at this point in time, that's when we actually know the Nigerians who are patriotic. I know one man who is running a fleet of aircraft business in Nigeria, who decided to send for free his own planes to go and teach people for free at no expense to anyone. I know that if it was a case of Muslim prisoners trying, he will not probably be listened to because of the divisional practices that the governance has brought of Nigeria. Brotherliness is eroding. All we are looking for right now is who is from my place, who is from among us, and to also say that a government had been on ground for 8 years, and this is the time now we are looking forward to having a census. I am so sure that holding a census is more difficult than holding an election.
How difficult is that going to be?
Sir, I didn't hear you.
How difficult do you think is going to be conducting a census?
Yeah, the number of persons required to conduct a census is 6 times the number you require, 6 to 10 times the number you need to conduct an election. For the purpose of an election, people will leave their streets and come to a single point. For the purpose of the population census, people will stay in their houses and wait for the counter. 10 streets can come to a single polling unit to vote. But one person may not be enough to even cover a street for the purpose of the census. There is no national orientation agency printing or advert saying this is how the census will be carried out. But we are hearing that in May, probably 5 and 6 or thereabouts, or 4 and 5, census will be carried on. Does this therefore mean we will start using figures to say, okay, probably figures have already been earmarked per state? And for what purpose is this census? A census that is already organized, for what purpose? So that it should be that for the next government coming, Kano State can now be a state of 45 million people, while Lagos State is now 15 million. So that Borno State can now be a population of 26 million people, and Ibadan, a population of, instead of 3.5, they will now be 1.7 million people. I don't know why we will always rush things in Nigeria for the purpose of favoring a certain section.
Dr. Constantine,
very, very basic,
Dr. Constantine,
I can hear you.
Okay, so now, early this morning, Inuwa Jalingo, who's the director of National Population Census, was on live television giving updates and preparation ahead of the national populations, for the census scheduled for the month of May. And part of the things, or maybe the body language from his speech, is that there might be a postponement. And let us listen to Inuwa Jalingo, and I know you also listen to that from your side. Just listen up.
By the end of today, like I have said, the Commission, by the grace of God, is having a high-level consultations. And at the end of this consultation, the chairman will come out and address the Nigerians on the issue of date. Yeah, from what we are doing and from the processes we need to do to arrive at May 3rd, I think that may be necessitated, but like I have said, I don't want to be taken into that discussion. By the end of today, the person that is designated to speak on that, the chairman, who is a policy maker, I think will address the issue of that, and I believe that that can be done as soon as today. So I will try to, as much as possible, deal with the technical issues as to regards our preparation, which I can tell you, and I can stand by what I have said, that we are prepared for the census if we are going to start today.
Well, clearly, it looks like all hands are on deck, and in case there are oversights, they might probably push the census. Dr. Cornerstone.
My brother Richard, if you ask me now, who I go ask?
We're going to
Because
judge from what he has said.
The same type of briefing and giving people hope happened before the election of 2023. I believe the hope that Professor Mahmoud gave Nigerians is even higher than this one. And now this is the first time in an election where the umpire broke his own rules. I'm tired of... you are telling me that population census will hold and there's no posting of any poster in my local government about the posting, except probably at the secretariat.
If another question
so
will also...
your guess is as good as mine.
Okay. Now let's look at the security of
Anything
officials.
about population census in Nigeria has always been meted with figures. I think they know how to produce these figures. My prayer is that that day, after the census, people will not come out and start saying, one daily wow, one dodo wow. Are you getting me? It's likely going to happen.
Dr. Cornerstone.
You understand what I'm saying?
Let's also look at the security of officials going for these census. Because if you look at the updates coming from the Punch newspaper, that abducted NPC official regained freedom. That is the Federal Commissioner with the National Population Commission in Bayelsa, Mrs. Gloria Uzonfo, who was abducted by gunmen along Ogbakiri axis of East-West Road in Rivers State, has regained her freedom. And yesterday, President Muhammadu Buhari was at the color parade, yesterday at the Eagle Square, and spoke about the state of security in Nigeria getting better. Even Femi Adesina said the same thing. But do you think maybe they are also looking at ways to make sure that security of officials going for the census is to be checked before making the census go ahead? Maybe that may be the reason they may want to be thinking, or they may want to be planning of postponing the census.
I mean, the census is long overdue. The last one was
Hey, let me on a lighter note. I want to say this on a lighter note. But the only person that has not been kidnapped right now in Nigeria is probably me and you in this interview.
And it won't happen.
When I'll take a cue from the election that happened. The promises of the security apparatus in Nigeria, the promises of the chairman of electoral of INEC, his promises were so loud that we felt that we will vote and nobody will ask us, what are you doing? But in the history of Nigeria's election, this is the most skirmished election. This is the most virulent election. Somebody is promising us too that a population census will go as promised. We do not even know anybody who is being employed now for the purpose of the population census. I believe the number of NYC that are serving in Oyo State are too few to be able to do only a lekuro for census. Not to talk of, are you listening, sir?
Yeah, we will see you.
With you.
Not to talk of Kudeti, Bobo Yemoja, Molete. These places I mentioned to you, there are over 20,000 streets. Now, those places I just mentioned to you, is it Ogbomoso that you want to talk of now? The number of streets in Ogbomoso can be over 5,000 streets. How many NYC, because that is their last report, how many NYC students are serving in Ogbomoso that within a 2-day period, everybody in Ogbomoso will have been counted?
When they're not using machines.
I believe that based on what we normally say in school, there's already a wuru to the answer on this issue.
Maybe there's a machine somewhere like Beavers that would do the counting. We wouldn't know. But let's move away from that story.
Population census is the only thing that people are not counted by machines, are counted by human beings. Richard, I am sorry to disappoint you. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Let's look out another promise that's a cornerstone.
Population census is not done with machine. It's done with
I'm
hand
just
count.
saying, maybe there's a
Nigeria
machine somewhere that we're yet to be introduced to. Let's hope that that's the case or not the case. However, let's move to another promise that might not see the light of day. As we're getting reports that NEC pushes FG to suspend the planned subsidy removal that was scheduled for June, July. We've also heard during the campaign from the likes of the APC or the president-elect, Tinubu, who said once he comes into office, is removing subsidy. But the NEC is saying they're removing subsidy even with the $800 million grant given by the World Bank to help cushion the effects that this subsidy would have on small business owners or low-income owners in Nigeria. Dr. Cornerstone, we've talked about subsidy for the longest. Is this the right step to take now?
Once again, the song, if you ask me, now who I will ask
you, Dr. Cornerstone. You're my analyst. I'll ask you.
Yes. Now, let me tell you this. I just want to give you this very critical point. The people who will be in power or in government in June is the person who will declare the winner of this election, and the courts have actually clarified that he's the one who won fair and square. Now, in June, this government will not be in power. So for you to have a government proposing a removal of subsidy at the time they will have been out of government, will make me ask you and I, or anyone who is listening, who was going to do the removal? These old cargoes, all the people just leaving? That's the first question. Number two, the $800 million that was said to have been borrowed to cushion the effect is just about 4,000 naira to about 8,000 naira for 50 million individuals. How much is 8,000 naira to buy fuel in Nigeria? Now that is about 220 to 250. Now imagine it's now set for 700 naira. How much fuel will 8,000 naira buy? It probably will buy 12 liters. And I do not believe that that $800 million borrowed has been returned because it has been temporarily suspended. The money has been shared. So it's like what is happening in Nigeria today is actually like haste. H-E-I-S-T, money haste. Take as much as you can using any form of strategy or any form of plan to be able to take. It's like that's what the people in government now are currently doing. I am sorry to say, but it looks so. And the thing is that most of what they are doing right now are not things that will flow into the next government. It's about let's do it now and get the results and declare that we've done it.
In literal terms, Dr. Cornerstone, do you want speak for yourself at this point now? Do you think subsidy should be removed?
My brother, do I even know whether it's still there? That's the question. Do I know if the subsidy is even there in the first place?
Oh, fair
How
enough.
can you be producing oil in your country? Any country that is not producing oil, are you listening to me?
Yes, please.
For which we say we are importing from, the landing cost of oil from any person, from any country we are coming from, into Nigeria, if we actually are saying there's no subsidy, it's about 1,200. Remember, the dollar to naira is about at the official rate is about 460 naira. Now add $1.3 now times that's about almost 500 naira. That is the amount we use to buy it in the country where you want to import it. Cost of importation is not there. Are you listening to me?
Yeah.
And so you are saying you are doing subsidy. You can only subsidize what you don't have. You have it in your nation and you say you are subsidizing it. I don't know what that is.
We're not refining it. I guess that's where subsidy comes to play. Because
have you ever heard the NNPCL declare the cost of refinement and which refineries in the world are doing the refining? You are talking about complete removal of refinery of subsidy when you have someone already built a Lagos one in Lagos that is probably the second largest refinery in the world. When he starts producing, he's not going to produce for Nigeria, probably so. He's going to produce commercially. He's going to buy the crude oil. Sorry, he's going to get the crude oil. I don't know whether for free, but he's going to sell for Nigerians at the international market. See, we are still joking as a nation. We are still joking.
perhaps since there's a cost implication to establishing a refinery, maybe we should consider a modular refinery.
Well, countries who understand the impact of production know the impact of modular refineries. It should not have been out of place to say Nigeria alone has more than 100 modular refineries. The Edo State government has built one, and that modular refinery is going to be able to process about probably at the maximum 15,000 barrels of oil per day. Just imagine if you have 100 of that in our nation where we have the oil. Richard, this is what is happening. You are hungry at home, hello?
Yes.
And the food you have is not enough, but somehow, somewhere, you find a way of seeing parents going to sell the food to outsiders. And he's telling you, the food that he sold to outsiders, so there's no money. They didn't pay. Because NNPCL is telling us now that, have they declared any profits since they started running?
Maybe declaring profits may be too early if you look at that. I mean, the NNPCL, started last year, and this is just April.
3 months after they came in, they declared a profit of 292 billion naira. Since that time, we've not heard anything. And declaring a profit of 292 billion naira, when you sell oil for and on behalf of a nation in millions of barrels per day, just put 3 months operation and calculate it with 292 billion naira. That is, in the 90-day work, that is, you are declaring a profit of probably
close to
3
10
billion naira per day.
Yes.
That's about 3 billion naira per day. So you are telling me the worth of 2.5 million, 1.8 million liters of oil. I'm sorry, not liters now. Barrels of oil by your sale is worth 3 billion naira for a country.
Dr. Cornerstone.
Don't call me again, bro.
Okay,
you
bro.
should be angry too.
Okay,
you
bro.
should be feeling bad, like me.
I just want you to, maybe we can also have a respect of hope for the incoming government, because the outgoing government, according to the special advisor to President Muhammadu Buhari on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, spoke yesterday. Excuse me, Dr. Cornerstone. Let me just land here saying that now the outgoing government has diversified from oil to agriculture. So maybe in the next few days or next few months, we won't be talking alone about oil, but we'll be talking about agriculture. Let's listen to Femi Adesina to what he said yesterday concerning Nigeria's economy, most especially for the outgoing government.
This economy must be diversified, and we have a diversified economy today. So when you come with those figures, particularly the exchange rate on naira to the dollar, you ask yourself, what are we exporting? If you don't export, your naira will be consistently weak against the dollar. But we are heading to a point when we can begin to export, particularly agri-products. We have started marginally. It can improve.
But the question is, how many of us are willing to return to the farm to do the work? There are technologies that would have been employed. But do we have those technologies to take to the farm? Who is ready to go and do the man-hand work in our farms for production's sake?
Maybe what Femi Adesina said there is more of the areas of land, and we have the rice pyramid. If you look at Ilorin, the story we got from Kwara State is also more of the rice mill. And look at other states. Osun states can also produce. So, looking at diversification here.
Who will do the work?
Well, we have people that can do the work. But Dr. Cornerstone here, if you heard what Femi Adesina said, talking about diversifying, also strengthening the naira, maybe this is like a way to go, diversifying to agriculture.
Well, he talks like a man who was driving and then tried to divert. I don't think it's diversification we are experiencing, it's diversion of resources. Yeah. Because if you are diversifying, the question we want to ask ourselves is, it is the raw materials produced by these farms you are talking about and their impact on Nigeria that we'll talk about, the level of diversification. Rice is selling at 32,000 naira 500 in a country that has diversified into agriculture. Listen, I don't want us, sometimes most of these things we discuss, the people who have high blood pressure that are listening to us, I pity them.
It is for us to look at the two angles here. I mean, we cannot be looking only at let
me tell you this.
That is what we're analyzing. Dr.
There
Kunishton.
was a declaration about the impact and progress that this government has made about rice farms. And for that purpose, we had the government of the day, President Muhammadu Buhari, General Retired, decided to do a show in Abuja, and we saw pyramid.
A pyramid, yeah.
Yes, but you see, some of us waited back to see how the rice will be removed from the pyramid, and we realized that it was the pyramid. A house was built under the pyramid.
It was alleged, Dr. Connors. There was no video to how it was dismantled, so we can't categorically state that it was a house.
Is there a video you want or a picture?
Well, a video would suffice for me. So
Okay.
whatever house that was said to be built was an alleged story. Let's just leave it at that.
So I want to ask you a question. To
Yes,
show
I'm
the
with you.
impact of rice, in Nigeria, the pyramid had to gather in Abuja for you to believe it. Not the price of rice that to tell you. Now, when it is surplus, the price goes down.
Well, fair enough, Dr. Cornerstone. I get your point. But at the same time, we also need to state facts when there are facts. But I do understand you 100%. Dr. Cornerstone, we must say thank you so much for your continued
Thank you very much.
analysis and always joining us to lend in your thoughts regarding the state of the nation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, enjoy your weekend, and we catch up on Monday. Thank you very much. Dr. Kunishton sharing his opinion there. And we'll go on a break, and when we return, we'll look at some more updates as we wrap up AM updates for this week. Do not go anywhere.
For this Naija wey we dey so, say you no hold cash no mean say wahala dey o. You wan send money to Male for Villa, just use Momo. You wan buy recharge card or data, just use Momo. You wan pay for market wey you buy, just use Momo. You fit use Momo run plenty things without cash. As long as you get Momo account, no cash, no wahala. And e dey easy to open o. Just dial *671# to open Momo account. Set your PIN, transfer money from your bank account inside your Momo account. Make you fit dey pay for anything, send and receive money sharp sharp, because life dey simple with Momo.
Mommy!
Yes, daughter?
Why is it that almost everyone in my school comes with small candies and biscuits? I just want to know.
Yes, darling. It's because Sumal food is amazing and simply the best.
Yes, mommy. Even the Sumal wafers and the chewing gum that you've always given to us are extremely delicious and captivating.
Hello, everyone. Here's your bread. Of course, it's yellow bread.
Wow! Thanks, my dear. We always enjoy Jolly bread. For your biscuits, wafers, candies, chewing gum, and bread.
Sumal Foods, love at first bite.
Sumal Foods, love at first bite.
Saleko is a jungle. Everyone does what they must to survive.
Gangs of Lagos don land for Prime Video and na the #1 film, so make una go watch am. E get better stars like Toby Bakri, Adesuwa Tomi Wellington, Chike, Iyabo Ojo and more. Plus the gege action wey dem do for the film. Chai! Na for only Prime Video you fit watch Gangs of Lagos, and dem go first give you 7 days free trial. Terms and conditions dey o. Oh yeah, japa to Prime Video.
Back is still the Remedy Dial Solutions 93.9. If you check your time, it's 17 minutes gone past 10, and we just concluded the analysis from some of the very trending stories from the Nigerian newspapers. Burning issues, we talked about the census that is proposed to be conducted next month in May. We also spoke about Femi Adesina speaking on diverting our resources or economic growth to agriculture. We did speak about what else? Subsidy removal as
Same
well.
as the census.
Yeah, subsidy removal. And we know that you have thoughts regarding some of these stories, and you would want the world to hear those thoughts. So you can call us in with the number 0909 888-9939 or 0912-222-2939. We're also receiving text messages and WhatsApp text to 0904-422-2939. Like I said earlier, today is the open mic session, so you can bring up stories that made the front page this morning that we were not able to analyze, so we can talk about it as well.
Okay, remember the Facebook is still live, Solutions 939 FM, and still looking at some, some headlines this morning from the
Punch.
major, most especially Punch. But let's pick this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, this is Mr. Sunday Waga from Elegberu here.
Great to
Mr.
have
Sunday.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, I want to ask you a question, but outside what you people have brought out this morning.
Please
I
go
want
ahead.
to know, Tinubu, the president-elect, during his campaign period, he never mentioned one achievement of Buhari. But he used what he did in Lagos 17 years ago to campaign. What's the meaning of that? Is that telling us that, I think that means that the government that he's supporting is a total failure, or what? I need an explanation. Why?
He's doing his campaign, so I don't see the reason for him to mention the past administration's success. He's going to talk about what he's done, and that's the only way people can vote him into office.
Well, part of the things that it was part of a lot of what people raised during that time. But if I could remember, he made mention of saying that he's going to continue where the outgoing government stopped. So I'm also trying to get the sound. If I can't get that, we'll play that sound for you this morning.
But essentially, he's to talk about his plans for Nigerians, what he intends to do once he comes into office. I don't think that he would talk about the past administration. That would be taking away his position campaigning for that office. I hope that answers the question. Like we said, if we get the sound, we'll bring it your way. You can still call the lines. The numbers are 0909 888-9939 or 0912-222-2939. Let's hear your thoughts this morning regarding the state of the nation.
Okay, so we were looking at some headlines, and as we're searching for that of Tinubu's voice, and this is on the right corner of the Punch newspaper, saying that PDP LP lost poll to overconfidence coming from President Muhammadu Buhari. And, if you look at what a lot of analysts have been saying, also some APC, members, if I could remember what Babajide Raji Fashola, right? I think I got the name right, yeah. Saying that they had their calculations, they've been training people, on how and states to also win. And look at PDP LP. Maybe if LP had not, if the presidential candidate of the Labour Party had not left PDP, maybe it would have been a landslide victory for PDP, same as G5 that left the PDP that campaigned for other parties, which we won't want to mention. Maybe if these people had united, maybe they could have won. Maybe. But with what President Muhammadu Buhari is saying here, that PDP LP lost to overconfidence. Maybe they did not do their mathematics well.
At the end of the day, that's the president's opinion, which is right in his own regard. However, there's been a lot that has been, said about this election. It was marred with voter suppression, some irregularities at different states, violence that erupted at different locations. So we can conclusively say that overconfidence was all that led to the loss of PDP and LP. How about we merge all these factors together? What happened during the election from the observers, what they stated, and put it together, and maybe would have a conclusive statement to what led to the loss of these parties. So the president, like I said, is right to say overconfidence. He would judge based off what he knows and what he has seen, right?
Okay, let's see if this would be that or the voice of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We're talking about his plans.
Manufacture, produce and market increased qualities of the essential goods and services we require. And Nigeria shall be known as a nation of producers, creators, not just a consumer. We will export more and import less in order to earn more foreign exchange and strengthen the naira. We will modernize and expand public infrastructure to stimulate economic growth at an optimal rate. Our national economy will grow, we succeed, we be respected.
If I could remember, Bola Ahmed Tinubu was saying this, that should be in, if he's